Hi, my name is Nick, and this is my interview to become a member of Stephan's team. I'm going to go ahead and preface the video with a couple of things that might be considered downfalls or weaknesses when placed in comparison to the other candidates. Starting off with filmmaking, I have very little experience. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is back in high school. I made a couple videos for projects, but seeing that that was well over 5 years ago, I don't think that really counts for anything. As you can imagine, also with lighting, I have no experience. Just as I was setting up my lovely scene behind me, I did notice that the lamp over there, you can kind of see where the light's coming from. It was really obnoxiously bright, glaring off of the little side table next to it. So I took off the glass and put a t-shirt over the lampshade, and that seemed to help dampen it a little bit. I was really proud of myself for that. And also when it comes to editing, I have very little experience. I've messed around with iMovie a couple times, but I'd say that's about it. In fact, my go-to program of choice would be MS Paint and Snipping Tool. As you can see in my thumbnail, that is what I used. And I figured now would be a good time to do a little disclaimer with that. Obviously, it was just meant in good fun. I guess I took sort of a calculated risk where either you guys will see it and think it's funny, get a good little laugh, and it'll get your attention, or you'll see it and you think, oh, this guy's just full of himself, and not even bother to watch my interview. Hopefully, it was the former, but if you're here this far in the video, obviously it worked. Um, Moving on to a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Nick. I am 23 years old, and I'm currently a undergraduate student here at the University of Minnesota in the Twin Cities. I study computer science, and I am currently kind of at junior level. I dropped out for a couple years, so my credits are kind of messed up, but I'm basically at a junior level right now. Like I said, studying computer science. In addition to that, I am an assistant manager at a restaurant. I've worked at the restaurant since I was 18. I've transferred back and forth between Minneapolis, where I currently live, and Illinois, which is where I grew up. So obviously, I only live here in Minneapolis because it's close to my school, even though everything's online right now. I'd gotten the apartment before the illness started, so I'm just here working and waiting for classes to resume in person. Other than that, I am a bit of an introverted, more shy guy. As you can tell, I took the cue from Graham's first video and decided to rock a pair of shades for this. Definitely helps ease my nerves a little bit, I guess. It's a little strange just talking to a camera, but yeah. Other than that, some of my interests include basically everything technology, music, cars, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, also, I have a cat. His name is Butter. You can see him laying over there on the couch. I'll be sure to throw in some higher quality videos I shoot with my phone later, but Butter is really excited to meet Ramsey, though. Moving on to why I think I would be a good fit for your team. I know it's kind of like a generic answer, but I have a lot of ambition. I'm at a very critical point in my life, I think, where some of the big decisions I make can impact basically the rest of my life, whether it be choosing a career, where I live, so on and so forth. And when this opportunity popped up, I knew I couldn't pass on it. Even though I am genuinely interested in computer science, like I said, I'm very into technology. There's just some aspects about school that I'm just not into, whether it be gen eds that I don't think will help me in anything, just taking classes that I'm forced to take that I really don't see any value in for my personal expectations and goals in life. So I'm kind of at that point where it's either now or never. I either stick with school, go through it, and get my degree and go forth in computer science or programming, whatever, or I can make a big decision and hopefully change my course of life for the better. So, like I said, this opportunity is perfect for me. I also have pretty good communication skills. Like I said, I've been an assistant manager for a restaurant for a few years now, and throughout my time at that job, I've had to develop strong rapport with guests, with fellow coworkers, my superiors, things of that nature. So I would definitely say that my ability to communicate effectively, concisely, and efficiently has definitely grown during my time at the company I work for. I also have a pretty strong attention to detail. I've just always been kind of more on the observant side, I'd say, just noticing small little things. And also, my job has helped me out a lot with that, growing that skill. Back when I was in Illinois, I had this boss. He was very, very picky. Every time he would come and do store visits, he would basically just go through everything, every tiny detail he would scrutinize. So it really opened my eyes and helped me gain the skill to look at things with a fine lens and identify what any issues are, and address them accordingly. Um, Going with that, I also have developed a pretty strong work ethic at the job that I'm currently in. I'd say that I've always kind of had a strong work ethic. With school, it's a little bit of a different story. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to work, I always put 1,000% in. I definitely try to go above and beyond to produce the best work I can and give the best results that I can. Also, I'd like to apologize if there's any rough edits or strange cuts throughout the video. I live in an apartment building that has relatively thin walls, so occasionally there'll be like a door slam and I'll have to stop and try and pick back up where I was. Also, I stumble on my words occasionally, so that could also be the case. Anyway, like I said, whether it be my ambition, my attention to detail, and my work ethic, and my ability to communicate effectively with those around me, I think that I'd be a great addition to your team. Moving forward with what else I think that I can bring to the table, like I said, I'm currently a computer science student here at the University of Minnesota. And although obviously that doesn't translate perfectly to ability to edit, I think that my aptitude in technology, and just various technological skills will hopefully translate nicely into learning editing, maybe lighting too, but regardless, those are two skills that I definitely want to learn, definitely want to perfect going forward. In fact, this summer I was planning on either purchasing Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro, something like that, to learn editing so that by the fall semester I could do kind of a side hustle, maybe do Fiverr or whatever, to make some extra money throughout the semester, save up some money, so by the time I graduate I can not be super stressed about finding a job right away. Also, another thing that I think that I could bring to the table is my writing ability. Although I've never had any real experience doing like business formatted emails or memos, things like that. I've been told just from English teachers in the past, I guess, that I have a pretty strong ethos when it comes to my writing. I guess you'll just have to take my word for that. I can provide you with some old papers if I can dig them out of my computer somewhere. I'd be more than happy to do that, but it's definitely something that I think I would easily adapt to when it comes to writing emails, writing sponsorship scripts, any other kind of professional writing you might need is something that I think I'd be very well suited for. And another thing that I think that I could bring to the table would be my loyalty. Like I said, I've worked at the same company since I was 18. I've worked my way up through various positions, and I definitely like to stick around for the long term when it comes to my employment. And then the last thing that I think that I can bring to the table is, like I said, I've grown up in Northern Illinois and Minneapolis. Those are the two places I've lived throughout my entire life. So I have just about 7 years of driving in the snow experience. So the next time it snows in Las Vegas, I'll be more than happy to drive you guys around. I've definitely never gotten my car stuck in a snowbank while trying to drift in a empty parking lot. Definitely never happened. And finally, moving on to some other ideas I have that would help grow the channel and the brand in general. One thing that I thought of that could really use some help would be your website. I went ahead and looked on it. I hadn't been on there for a couple months. And first thing I noticed was that it doesn't automatically redirect to a HTTPS secure connection when you just type in grahamstephan.com. Obviously, not everyone's going to notice that, but especially at least on Google Chrome, when you go to a website that doesn't do that, it'll say not secure in the top left hand corner. So that's usually a red flag for me personally. When I go to a new website that I don't know very much about, I'm definitely very skeptical and a little bit hesitant to go through the website. Um, so, I mean, obviously, I don't think that of your website just because you have a lot of credibility through your YouTube and other ventures, but some other people, some new subscribers, things of that nature might also notice that and take an issue with that. Some cool things that I think we could do with the website is kind of have some sort of like blog discussion forum, similar to like autotrader.com/oversteer. Have different people, whether it be you, some YouTube colleagues, maybe some people who are just more into writing as opposed to creating videos, posting content with regards to personal finance, real estate, what have you, and figure out a way to monetize that so you and the people who create the content on that website would benefit from it. Another idea I have to help grow the channel and the community in general actually has to do with merch. And although I'd imagine that it probably isn't your biggest priority, just because you spend so much time reinforcing the ideas of saving, investing, and not spending a lot of money on physical goods, I think that maybe if you 2-3 times a year, if you rolled out a limited quantity, limited edition like merch special, just made it something interesting, fun for the subscribers. I think that scarcity for the limited edition merch would help drive up the demand. Just a thought. I think it would be something worth trying out a couple times, see if it actually works or not. Maybe my hypothesis is terribly wrong. Who knows? Moving on with some more content-specific ideas. I think that doing like a cost of living analysis for different regions in the country, maybe even the world at some point, would be a pretty cool thing. I know I personally, like I said earlier, with my age, there's some big decisions that I have to make, whether it be where I live, what job I do, things of that nature. So I think that as opposed to going online and doing a Google search and then going through a bunch of websites, which I've done before, it can be a little bit tiring, I guess. I would definitely be inclined to watching a video that kind of covers it, like in different regions. I think that would be a cool thing, and it would get a lot of views, especially with like people around my age. And then once I get a better understanding of what you guys are comfortable researching and talking about, I think that I'd have more ideas to help brainstorm. And then one last content-specific thing that I think would be a cool idea would be to get Doug DeMuro on the podcast. I know Graham watches him based on his very first Tesla video, where he wanted to give his car a Graham score. I'd imagine I wouldn't be surprised if you've already tried to reach out to him already, but I know that he goes out to Las Vegas to film some reviews every once in a while, so maybe there's a shot at that. Maybe you already have it in the works, I don't know, but I think that would be cool. And then one last idea I have that I think is worth sharing is just in case anything ever happens where YouTube doesn't become a viable source of income anymore. I know Graham plays the piano, and like I had mentioned earlier, I'm very into music, and I actually happen to play the cello and the trumpet. So if Jack were to pick up the saxophone, we could be a cool jazz trio playing the Strip in Las Vegas. Or if he picked up the violin, we could be a classic piano trio and play at some of the thousands of weddings that occur in Vegas every year. But in all seriousness, I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch my interview. Hopefully my stumbling upon my own words didn't draw too much attention and push you off too much, because I really think that I have a lot to bring to the table that could help the team and help all three of us grow and help the channel grow immensely. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I will put my email and my very rarely used Instagram down in the description box. So thank you guys again, and I'll catch you all soon.